go through each and every fucking one of these things. Watch. They all kind of suck. As much as isn't hitting it for me. How do you turn a death tournament into literally the most boring thing I've ever read? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and this is the Astral Library and we are on to week 3 of the Magical Readathon. It is Monday, April 15th at 11 a.m. on the dot. And it is the perfect time to just jump right back into this vlog. I'm actually gonna start by doing the quest line for the lore class because I want to see what's going on with that. Last week we had a reading prompt of which I read Sailor Moon for. So that was really fun and easy. I'm hoping we don't get another reading prompt this week. I have things I want to start, but I have to read my last book for this TBR, which is, let me go get it because I apparently don't have it on my hands right now. The last book I have to read for this TBR is All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody. So this is the last book. This is the book I had to buy because I didn't have it. I had book 2. So this week she's getting done, or she's at least getting started. And then we can spend the last week of Magical Readathon reading more prompts for any challenges that pop up, but also just reading for fun. I have so many books I want to start. I want to read the next book in the Hawthorne Legacy. I want to read more of the Farseer trilogy. So this is the book that's standing in the way of that. And in addition, I'm also reading stuff on the side. So I have the audiobook of The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. That is entirely in a physical audio disc that I can only listen to in my car because I don't have a CD player in my house. So that's on its way to progressing. I believe it's 16 hours long. I will be reading another 6 hours this week because I'm going up to school 3 times a day, or rather 3 times a week. So, and it's an hour each way. So 6 hours done and dusted. I may finish it because I think I'm over the time I'm usually at because this week traffic's been awful on the freeways. So we'll see if I actually finish that. And if I just have a little bit left, I might physically read it because they're due back the 24th, but I can always extend it. So we'll see on that end. And then I'm also in the middle of reading a new manga series that I'm adoring, and that has been eating up like my fanfiction time. So you might see me reading some of that as well. But for sure, the main focus of this vlog is going to be All of Us Villains. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Hello. Okay, I have my coffee here and I have my laptop. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the new quest opening that just opened today. So last time we were looking at the map of Aurelium and trying to find a clue hidden in it. And so it's going to lead us to exploring various locations. So the new quest line says exploring. Okay, it's a rather short passage this time. Sorry if you can sort of see my dogs and hear them playing. They choose the best times. As soon as they start recording, so they're the noisiest. They're normally just sleeping. I have the camera out. We gotta be active. We gotta be stars. So it is time to explore Aurelium. We're looking for something magical, something related to a crescent moon, but we don't know much else. So this may take a while. Okay, so we're gonna be exploring, and also in this drive, there are various choices. So there's Osra Temple, Astronomy Tower, the Moon Towers, Crescent Grove, a Wild Moon Inn, the Rift Spire, and Moonstone Museum. So all of them relatively moon. Let's go back to, what am I looking for? So I'm supposed to be looking for, follow the crescent to find the Everdawn. So I'm looking for a crescent. So for that, come on. The only thing that is crescent would be Crescent Grove. So like that's my instinct to go. If we look at the map, we're following the crescent though, so we're not going to the crescent. The crescent is closest to Ostra Temple. So that would make the most sense if we're following the crescent. Do I go to just the crescent? There's nothing to say I can't go into multiple, so we're gonna start by following my instinct and going to Osra Temple. Let's see what happens. Despite the temple area being available to all, it was the archivist that mentioned a crescent moon archway when looking for possible map locations. Part of the Osra Temple, this archway is a glorious ode to the morning sky, with the moon on one side and the sun rays beautifully etched into the ancient stone. underneath, all leading to a sun statue on the other side. It's really quite stunning, and surprisingly, this is the first time you pay attention to it. Sometimes we really forget to pay attention to the details not right under our noses, but as it happens, we are here to pay attention to all of this right now, so none of the beauty can be lost, even if it tried to be sneaky. You notice how no matter the time of the day, the sun always dances underneath. There must be magic at play. You walk under the tunnel, dragging your fingertips through the etching, lighting, trying to sense if any other drawing hide any secret levers that could pop open a door you could finally go through. Okay, we have a prompt. So the prompt is try to snap a picture of sunrise or sunset. And if some days it's still not possible, try to find a video of it. Okay, so that is something I will have to do today. It's already past sunrise, so that's not happening, but sunset we could do. Let's see, when is the sunset today? Okay, it is at 7:23 today. I could do that. In fact, let me set an alarm to make sure I do it. Hey, set an alarm for 7:23 p.m.
You got it. Your alarm's set for 7:23 p.m.
All right, that is set. We are hopefully gonna catch a picture of the sunset today. All right, but did this work? Was I right? So we have another folder called anything. Oh, we do have a result. Oh no. I'm gonna go through each and every fucking one of these things. Watch. But did this one work? No. I'm reading so many books. Go back. Of course. Okay. Oh, go back. Damn it. It did not. Okay. We'll just pretend it never happened. Another reading prompt! There's only one place left. This has to work. Yep. There it is. It's a good thing I decided to dedicate today to do these challenges because we've now added not one, not two, but 3 books to this TBR. You know, I'm just gonna be racking up those points. It's fine. Not gonna cry as I have 3 more books to read. I had to go everywhere. I had to go everywhere. There had to be 2 reading prompts in this one challenge. That's mean, G. That's mean. But it's fine. It's a challenge. It's optional. I don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it because I don't like to be bested by challenges. So this is what I'm gonna read today. I think I will probably start with Incognito and then move to the Summer Palace and then do Scum Villain Self-Saving System. Just go easy to harder. I'm gonna go do that. So I will catch you later. Hello! It is about 7:18, so I went out and I saw the little sunset. A little earlier than like true sunset, but true sunset's gonna go behind the houses and I won't be able to see shit, so it is what it is. But I did end up reading these 2 books and I started Scum Villains. So it was a productive day in terms of reading. So I did finish the Summer Palace and Incognito, so these 2 prompts are well and done. You should have seen a clip of me watching my informative YouTube video, which I ended up watching a game theory video, the first video without that Pat, which broke my heart just a little bit. But it was still really interesting because it was a theory on Minecraft and I love Minecraft and I love the way game theory interprets the game, so. And what else did I do? You saw the sunset clip, so that's another prompt off. Took a photo of it as well, featuring my new tattoo, which I don't think I've actually shown you guys like straight up. Yeah, it's just some leaves. I redid my fingers and then it just curves around my wrist and ends my thumb. It's very pretty, I like it. Even my mom liked it, which I thought she would hate it, so That's a win in my book. What can I say about these two books? Incognito is what I expected it to be. It was fun, it was quick and easy, but it's a tough book to read, man. Like, we're just dealing with really tough topics and the horrors of lynching and just like the realities that we get multiple lynchings happening in this book. There's only so much I can say about this. It's heartbreaking. It was a good read. I am very interested in it. And I believe this is based on a larger series. I know there's a prequel book. Oh, it's based on a real life story too. I might be going to dive into a documentary or a biography or a memoir or something of Zane Pinchback, because damn, he must have seen some fucked up shit in his time, but it was very, very interesting. And then for Summer Palace, I adored most of these stories. I think the only story I didn't care for was Ansel's story, which I just don't care about Ansel. I don't really care about Jord or Amric. So those stories were kind of weaker for me. But the Summer Palace though? The Summer Palace short story? Oh my god. Oh my god, my babies! It's been so long! I fell back in love with Damon and Laurent. And I was just like, I just couldn't handle the sweetness. You were watching for me. You were staring out the window for me. I was waiting for you, I forgot. The soft touches, the bathing. Fuck the smut. I don't even care about the smut. Just the soft touches, the soft words, the smiles, the laughs. If ever I needed like comfort that those characters were gonna be okay, it's the Summer Palace short story that just like reassured that of me. And then the short story right after that with Charles the Merchant was also hilarious, because we just get more of that Laurent and Damon silliness and just comfort through the perspective of someone else who doesn't quite know who Damon is, but has realized who Laurent is. And then just the ending where he's like, why are you dressed up like the king? I love that. It was so funny. I laughed so hard in both of the stories. So even though it has the two weaker stories that I weren't really interested in, I would definitely give this a 4 stars. And I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars, which I rounded up to a 4 on Goodreads, but it is a 3.5 on Storygraph. So 2 really good reads, 2 really quick reads that made this afternoon go by really easily. As for the last book I started, I did only get a few pages into Scum Villains, and I don't have much to say. I'm literally like 2 pages in. I'm hoping it reads a bit quicker than typical Danmei novels, just because even though we are getting a fantasy world in this one, we are definitely starting from a contemporary standpoint. This is more of like a reincarnated manhwa than the like typical Danmei novel where we're like in a completely new world with new magic systems. So I'm hoping this one reads a little quicker. I hear this is definitely one of her easier series to start with. By far her toughest series is Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I feel like that one is really challenging in just the composition of the story and just how in-depth you have to get into the world. Versus I feel like Heaven Official's a Blessing is set in an entirely new world and is really complex, but it starts a little easier and is a little easier to follow in terms of like what the story is and how it progresses. And I've heard that this one's even simpler than that. So I'm hoping that's the case because I want to fly through this. I do not want to be stuck reading this for the entire month because I have a feeling that we're gonna get more reading prompts coming in. I will probably read more of this tomorrow, as well as starting All of Us Villains, which I don't have next to me right now. I'm gonna go grab some dinner. I'm not gonna cook tonight because I don't want to. And then I'm going to sit down and watch my sci-fi pick, which I have a few options queued up. So it's just a matter of like, which ones am I gonna pick? So I'll bring you along with me when I pick and we'll watch some scenes. Hello everyone, it's Tuesday and your girl is exhausted, and exhausted for one reason only. That is, Miss Dolores here decided that she was going to bark at a possum that came in the yard at 4 in the morning. And wouldn't stop barking until I got out of bed and brought her inside. I've been up since 4 a.m. It is currently, hold please, 2:17, and I've got 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep. But oh no, my day doesn't end there. No. So I lock her inside, right? Surely she'll stop barking. And she did. And whatever's in the yard is gonna go away and it'll be fine. Well, I let her out in the morning when I'm getting ready to go to school, and there's barking again. I was like, what the heck is it? And this time she won't stop until I go all the way out to the backyard. And to see like this possum like tucked in a corner hissing at her as she's barking at it. And when I tell you this possum would not leave, I brought her inside. I'm inside for another like 10-15 minutes and the possum's still there. So I locked him inside because I wasn't gonna be gone that long today. And they had time to go out before I left. But tell me why during class, what a student dislocated their knee when we were moving tables, like just twisted the wrong way and we had to call the ambulance. It's been a really long day and I'm gonna be completely honest, I just want to do nothing and relax, but I can't do that because I have 2 books I need to get through, of which I have neither by me. 1 second. Now I have my 2 books. So I have Scum Villain Self-Saving System Volume 1 and I have All of Us Villains Book 1. So these 2 books I have to get through this week. I don't think I'm gonna do this one today. I don't think I'm like in the mood for a Dawn May novel. I think I need something a little quicker, a little snappier to grab my attention. So I think I'm going to read All of Us Villains, I think only for an hour. I think that's all my mind can handle right now. I did eat and I've had some sugar to hopefully like wake me up, but I'm gonna set the timer for an hour. After that hour's up, I'll either let you know my thoughts or I'll come back to you with another update. Look, who knows? Maybe I'll get really into it and read more than an hour. This is not that long of a book. This is 400 pages? Not even? Yeah, it's not even 400 pages, it's like 380 something. So, it's a relatively short book. I can knock it out in a day. I'm not going to. Again, I'm exhausted, so this is gonna be a multiple day project. I'm gonna go do that and I'll catch you guys when I have an update. Hello, quick update. I'm sorry if you can hear the washer in the background. I am doing laundry because I forgot to do it this weekend. But what happened yesterday? Not a lot of reading, I'll tell you that. I, in fact, took the biggest nap yesterday. I think I tried to read a couple pages and my eyes just like glazed over and I could not retain a single word of what I read. I did in fact read some of All of Us Villains. I am on chapter, who knows what chapter I'm on because there's no chapter titles, but I'm like 50 pages in. Really just getting started. I've met all our main characters and main perspectives, I think, because we're starting to repeat. And I have to say, the title is very apt for this because damn if they're not all unlikable people. So what this book is, and what I understand of it so far, is that we are following 7 families who have all kind of made this pact to keep this one specific type of magic to themselves. And it's the last remaining like aspect of this magic. And they call it high magic, which is like this supposedly this really powerful thing that is gone extinct, or so people thought in the world. But everyone else can do what they call like common magic, or like more minor spells. To control this high magic and to decide who gets to like reign over it, they have a deadly competition every 20 years where they send a teenager. Why a teenager? We'll have to come back to that. But they send teenagers to fight to the death, and the last person who is standing gets to control the high magic for their family until the next cycle starts in 20 years. Where we're starting out in this book is that we are starting at a time where the tournament is about to begin again, but what is different is that there's a book that was just released that detailed the entire history of this tournament and what is going on. And it became huge news because before this tournament was a secretive thing, only known amongst the family and the people in the small town. But with the release of this book, it's exploded and now everyone's interested in it and everyone's trying to like keep their eyes on this tournament and its champions. So we're really seeing a shift in tradition happening, essentially, where all our characters are not only having to worry about, entering a death match, but also like entering a death match with the media staring at you. And so we're meeting each of the champions, who their families are, what kind of magic they have, and what are their general specialties and kind of their personalities. And like I said, no one is likable in this book. We have Alistair, who's cocky, but also seemingly like forcing himself to be the bad guy. We have Gavin, who's like desperately trying to prove himself because his family's always last. We have Bryony, who is desperate to prove herself and to kind of like make herself into this legend where she's gonna win the power over everyone. Picked, we have Isabel, who is from a family that she desperately wants to get away from, but also wants to win. And she's been like in the spotlight the longest out of them all. There's so much going on, and it's not what I expected from this book. I did not expect a multi-POV book, which I'll be honest, I'm not excited about. I just don't find multi-point of views all that interesting or all that conducive for my reading because I tend to mix up the names and mix up the characters. Expect that to happen a lot, as well as, honestly, I tend to find certain characters just unenjoyable. I don't want to follow their perspective. So I don't know if that's the case here, because so far everyone's had an interesting storyline. I would say the weakest ones I'm not interested in is probably the Brienne one. I don't care for characters who like so desperate to prove themselves that I think she's gonna do something stupid to do so. But I'm interested in Alistair, who is the one who wants to be a monster. And I'm interested in Gavin, the kind of like underdog. Those are the two stories I think I'm interested the most in, but I think I'm interested also in Isabel's family magic. So there's something to grab my interest in most of these. It's just about how well is this going to sustain where I actually want to continue switching off every chapter to a different perspective. So we'll have to see how that goes. I do plan to read a little bit more tonight. I think I'm gonna try to read 50 pages at least, 100 pages if I'm really, really good, but we'll see if I am. I don't have to do any prep work for class tomorrow because we're doing peer review, thank God, but I am still just a little wiped from this week. We'll have to see, but I will catch you in the next update. Hello, checking in. It is 8:50, so it's been a few hours. I have not been reading that entire time. I picked it up on and off. My dad had come down because we were talking about bathroom remodels and we were just talking about measurements and stuff like that and like what we're gonna put in. But I did get more reading done for all of us villains. I'm about that far in now, which I'm at 157 pages. So I read about 100 pages today. What can I say other than this book's moving very slowly, which is not what I've been expecting for this book, because where I'm at, we've just started the tournament. People have just like, the tournament has begun, people are starting to sling spells at each other and run to their hideouts. So I'm hoping the rest of this book picks up, but I have my doubts because this doesn't seem like a book that's rushing to any sort of conclusion. Nor do I think I can guess what is actually going to happen with these characters, or even if I want any of them to win theoretically, because we have Alistair, who I'm most interested in because I want to see him snap, to be completely honest with you. He comes from the most powerful family who's been winning all these times, and he's a self-proclaimed monster, and then spoiler, skip ahead if you don't want to know. And then they kill his brother, which was rude. And when I literally read that scene, I was like, okay, Alistair, here's what I need you to do. I need you to win, and then I need the first thing you do with the high magic you win back to slaughter your entire family. Because it is unrealistic that none of these 7 families have been wiped out by the horrendous shit they do to these kids. How do you raise children to go fight in these like bloody battles, and when they come out of it victorious, it is said over and over again, they're coming out damaged and scarred, and a lot of them commit suicide. How has none of them wiped out their families for like all the shit they did, especially the Lowe family? It's like told to us that they are constantly killing the siblings. It's like, how is this family still standing? Because trust me, if I was Alistair and you killed my brother, the only person I liked in this family, while everyone else treated me like trash, y'all be done. You would be wiped off this planet. And so I'm hoping for that. I'm also just really interested in his psyche, like this push and pull of him being the monster he was raised to be, while also kind of like fighting against his like own innate nature, which is very much against his like monstrous figure that they've been painting him to. All these characters are a hot mess, and I don't really care about any of them per se. Like they all kind of suck, which makes sense because this again is titled All of Us Villains. We're not supposed to love them. And that's been fun. I like getting to read stories about like very morally gray or even just morally black characters. But this book is very, very slow moving. Again, we've just entered this tournament arc, and even before that, it didn't feel like anything happened to lead us into this tournament arc to like give me any sort of motivation. Like, okay, now we're gonna see like stuff really unfold. I don't trust any of them. I don't see anything that's like tugging me forward other than that I'm trying to see like where is this going to end, or where is this story, or where is this tournament gonna go, because we already see some of the cracks beginning in it. Clearly some sort of magic's being fucked with here, and that's probably gonna lead us into the second book. We shall see. According to Storygraph, I'm about 40%, 41% into this, so I'm almost to the halfway point, which kind of like makes sense of where my bookmark is. Yeah, I think I'm done reading for the night. I think I'm gonna go lay in bed and read my manhwas and webtoons that I was reading last night, because I think I've updated, but I've been reading this manga called Anonymous Noise, and I'm obsessed with it, okay? I don't remember how I came across this anime, but I did. And it was like this weird anime that came out in 2017. It was literally nowhere. I had to scour the internet to go watch this thing. And I watched it, and it was 12 episodes, and I ate them all up. I watched it in a single day, and it's a music anime, and it's so good. But it only has one season, and it's never gonna get another remake or continuation of it. So I went to the manga because the manga was finished, and I've been devouring those volumes so fast. I think I read about 3 or 4 volumes in a day a couple days ago, but I'm close to the end, and instead of, you know, just like reading to finish it, I've stopped myself because I'm not ready to let it go. And so I'm in this weird limbo of like, I want to see how it ends, but also I can't let it go and see how it ends. So I've been reading other manhwas and webtoons in the meantime to prolong my inevitable fate of having to let Anonymous Noise go. I don't think tonight will be the night that I continue it, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I'm gonna go brush my teeth and then go to bed, and I will catch you tomorrow with an update. Hello. It is Saturday about 11:30. I have officially finished my last book. I was reading the past couple days, but I haven't like sat down to update you guys just because I've been running around. My roommate was home, and we ended up getting dinner with a friend. We did something Thursday too. I just can't remember. There was a lot going on, and I didn't actually sit down to talk, but I did finish the book that I was reading, and of course that book being All of Us Villains. I wanted to like this book. I wanted to like this book so bad, but I was just so bored reading this book, and I don't understand. How do you make a book that has a death tournament boring? How do you do it? How do you turn a death tournament into literally the most boring thing I've ever read? And it's not even because I didn't like the characters. I know I'm not supposed to like the characters. They're theoretical villains, and they're all kind of like shitty people. But it just felt like nothing happened. Like the tournament itself didn't start like halfway into the book. And even when the tournament was going on, it was just a bunch of moaning and complaining and angsty teenage bullshit. Which on one hand you expect because they are teenagers thrown into a literal death match. But like, come on. I ended up giving this book 2 stars. And the only reason it got the 2nd star is because I found Alistair as a character to be so interesting. Not always in his execution. He's like extreme edgelord. Every stereotypical like idea you have about an edgelord, like this angsty guy who's been raised to be a monster but doesn't really want to be a monster. He fits it. To a T, he fits it. I give a lot of leeway because I like that shit. I eat it up every time. But even then, I didn't understand his whole romance aspect with Isabel. I thought that was stupid. And I thought, okay, maybe he'll have more of a romance with Gavin, who also was like heavily commenting on how cute Alistair was. But no, Gavin was power hungry, which makes sense. I think Gavin's the only one that truly leads into like the villainous title. Versus everyone else just felt whiny, overly angsty. And I think the only one who like truly had like the most angst going on was Alistair, because you know. I hated everything about this. I was so bored. I cannot tell you how many times I'm like, I just didn't want to pick up the book. I was purely reading 50 pages a day because I needed to finish this book for the Magical Readathon. It was awful. Alistar is the only reason I gave it 2 stars. And really, it's only because the very ending of the book, which ended in Alistar's perspective, and it did exactly what I wanted him to. That was great. Love that. They got what they deserved. But everything else, I'm just like, why'd I read this? So this is the first official fail in terms of just like reading enjoyment for this readathon. I think everything else I've pretty much enjoyed and like really liked. This one I really didn't. Wish I had my time back over the past few days. And what sucks is I just bought this book, so I have the sequel. And it's only one more book. So I'm gonna read it. But I'm not gonna read it anytime soon, I'll tell you that. I'm not putting that in my priority whatsoever. But at least with all of his villains done, that means I have my TBR done. I officially accomplished my TBR a week early. So kudos to me. I do still have the challenge read of Scum Villains, which I'll throw up on screen because I'm not gonna go grab it right now. So I do have to read that because of the prompt. Oh, there's an airplane going by, hold on. Reading prompt with portal magic. I only read a couple pages, so I'll probably read some of that tonight just because I don't have much going on today, to be honest. And once that's finished, barring any other TBR like prompts I end up getting through next week's quest, I'm gonna be done with Magical Readathon, which means I might just turn the last vlog into like a fun reading vlog. That might be nice, so I can continue more of like Hawthorne Legacy, because I'm still very interested in that and I want to get to that, but I don't want to start that until I finish everything on my prompt list. So Scum Villains is the only thing standing between me and that for the moment. Right now, I'm in the mood to play Minecraft. Like I just stumbled on like Minecraft videos last night and like aesthetic ways to hide farms. I'm like, I want to do that. So I might spend like a couple hours doing that. I might see what my mom and dad are doing today, because if they're doing something fun, I might join in. I am filled with energy, even though I have no energy. Make that make sense. I'll catch you guys in a later update. Hello everyone. Sorry if you can hear a bit of scratchiness in my voice. I woke up with like the worst sore throat and I don't know why. So I have some nice hot tea here with so much honey. More honey than tea, honestly, because I'm not a huge tea person, to be honest. But I'm just here because I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a formal closeout to give you my final thoughts before we end this vlog. So we did end up finishing 1 book? 2 books. 3 books. We finished 3 books in this vlog. Wow. Only 1 that I was required to read and 2 that I stumbled on because of my TBR prompt. So let me actually grab them. So the first book I finished was, of course, Incognito by Matt Johnson. I loved this book. It was so good in a sense that it's a very dark and kind of sad story and very brutal, but I still enjoyed my time. And I was talking to my dissertation chair and he's like, Emily, go ahead and add that on. It's perfect for your dissertation. So I'm like, yes! Excellent! Another book down that I don't actually have to read for next year, so thank God I read it. And then I read The Summer Palace by C.S. Pacat, which is a collection of short stories set in the Captive Prince series, which was one of my favorite series, and I didn't realize how much I missed that series until I went back and reread some of these short stories, especially The Summer Palace, and just my heart was so whole. And I miss my babies, and I might have to go reread that series because it was just so good. And of course, the last one that I just finished was All of Us Villains, which was my class for psionics and divination. I actually had a bingo, which I totally forgot to update you guys, but I do have my finished bingo card here. So for All of Us Villains, I did win a bingo, which means I win a book. Yay. So I got multi-POV, unique magic system, romance plotline, female main character. There's multiple female main characters. I'm gonna count that as a win. Bingo game, which is just the free spot, ultimate betrayal, and there was in fact a sword or shield. So I won bingo a couple ways. So I won it diagonally across from left to right and then straight across up top. That's a win for me. I will get a new book. Maybe. We will have to see. What that book will be, I don't know. I can't tell you. I'll have to go look at my little list and see what I want to treat myself with. Yeah, so that's the only good thing to come from this book, because otherwise I did not like it. And the last book I read for this vlog, but I didn't quite finish, so we will be continuing it in the next vlog, is Scum Villain Self-Saving System Volume 1 by MXTX. So I read this a little bit last night, and I ended up on page 102. So I got 100 pages in. I'm not loving this one, but I'm not hating it. I think it's just a little bit of a slow going, and I think when I was reading it last night, I was just tired. Just not into like sitting and just slogging through a book. Even though I did get decently far. Like I'm a third of the way through this book because it's not that long. It's under 300 pages. Yeah, it's 291 pages, so I'm almost halfway there. I think it's interesting because if you've ever read a transmigration webtoon or manhwa or manga where we have a main character dying and then being born into a new world, usually of like a novel or video game that they read or played, that's essentially the premise here, and we're following our main character. Oh god, let me look at the pronunciation guide. Drawing of him, no pronunciation guide, so we're gonna try our best. It is Shun King-kyu, who is our main character. It's this guy. He was a begrudging fan of a novel, like a serialized novel, and he was so mad at the ending that he died, but he finds himself transported into the main character, who's this little cutie boy right here, into his mentor, essentially. And the mentor in the book is a cruel, cruel person who tortures, beats, and is just like otherwise really mean to the main character. And Shen Qing-kyu, of course, does not want to suffer the same fate as the original character does, who ends up dying at the hands of the main character. So he's like, I want to change everything. First 100 pages of the book is essentially him like trying to do that. But what I thought was really interesting is that the system itself that like transported him to this novel will not let him do that at first. They call it the OOC function, or the out of character function, and it's not unlocked until he first passes through a beginner level mission. And so we barely get to where he's able to fully control his actions, otherwise he'll be punished for them. So again, it's a lot of like build up, which was again very interesting because it did give you kind of some tension, like, okay, you can't just change everything willy-nilly, you have to earn the right to do so, which is unique for these types of stories. But it did make it kind of like frustrating. It's like, okay, that means we're really not progressing the story along in any way. We're just kind of like having to like go through the motions of the original novel. And while we do see Shun King-kyu, mess around and try to push the boundaries, for a lot of those 100 pages, he is following the original path of the novel. Luckily, he does unlock the OOC function where I kind of stopped, so I am hoping that we're gonna see more of his kind of actions and kind of like how he's trying to interact with these characters a little bit more, probably in a little less of a cruel way, hopefully. So we'll have to see. I'm not loving this. I would definitely say this is my least favorite of MXTX's novels, just because Heavens is like peak for me. I love Heaven Official's Blessing. And then I have a really soft spot in my heart for Grandmaster Demonic Cultivation. This one just isn't hitting it for me, which is fine. I do think I'm gonna try to give this another 50 or so pages, and if it's not in, I'm just gonna DNF it, and we'll call it a loss for what it is. Yeah, that's all the books I read for this vlog, and my throat is killing me. But thank you so much for watching this vlog. I'm gonna go because my voice is literally screaming at me for talking. So I'm gonna drink all of this tea and then I guess lay down for a bit. But I have so much stuff to do today. Oh, looks like such is the life as an adult. But thank you all so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, please consider leaving a thumbs up and a comment down below. Let me know, did you read any of the books I read in this vlog? Or what books did you read this week? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Did you come across a book you thought you would love but you hated like me? Let me know in the comments down below. If you don't have much to say, but you want to let me know that you were here, that you saw this far into the video, go ahead and leave me a stack of books emoji, because your girl had to read so many extra books in this video. Just like when we thought we were done, we got smacked with a whole bunch more. So it goes for this challenge. Hopefully next time we won't get hit as bad. But again, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!